This here is the Cheetah 2, a budget smartphone by the company Cubot. Now, in my opinion, it takes much of its inspiration from the Samsung Galaxy S6. As you'll see when I begin to unbox it, it actually has many similarities in terms of its design. But how does it weigh up against the competition in terms of raw specifications? Well, the Cubot Cheetah 2 actually has a 5.5-inch 1080p IPS display. That's bigger than my own personal Samsung Galaxy S7, and to be honest with you, it's actually quite good. It also has an octo-core processor inside. Not only that, but also 3GB of RAM for allowing for some fantastic multitasking. Not only this, but it also has 32GB of storage capacity built in already, which can be upgraded by adding up to 256GB of additional storage through the means of micro SD cards. Not only this, I'm going to say not only this quite a lot, it has a rear-facing camera with 16 megapixels and a 13 megapixel front-facing camera. Now, like most smartphones that come out of Asia, you'll also find 2 SIM card slots, which we would usually find quite unusual, but it is quite usual for these types of devices. So in terms of raw specifications, that is that. How about we get on to looking about what's inside of this box? Okay, so just looking at the outside of the packaging, it's actually quite a nice sort of box that it comes in. It's very nice, it fits very well. One thing I would note, however, is this message on the side of the box here. Stop following, take the lead. Now, that's a bit of a weird thing to put on the side of a smartphone box, and in all honesty, I'm really not sure why it's been done. But I suppose it's a nice touch, it's an inspirational message, you could say. But really, it doesn't fit with a smartphone, and I'm really not sure why they've done it. But let's have a look inside out, shall we? So, it opens like most smartphones boxes do, just by pulling the lid off the top there. So, putting that to the side there, we are immediately presented with the smartphone. Now, I will say to you, I have already opened this and I've just put it back in all of its original packaging, so it is more or less exactly how it came when I first received it. So, taking the device out, we can see, if I put that to one side, we can see a few bits of paper that no one cares about, and we can also find the USB-C charging cable, which is actually really cool because most budget smartphones definitely won't come with USB-C. But this, as you can see, is a fully USB-C compatible device. So pop that to the side. And we get the mains charger in this little bag here. So plug that in there. Only got one USB port on the bottom, but that's all you really need because it is for one device. Underneath that, you don't get anything else, it's just an empty box. So that's everything you get with the box. No headphones, nothing like that. It is a budget device, you can't really expect more. So, how about we take this out of its packaging? Okay. Right, so, once I've managed to pull that out, we can see the device with all of this packaging on it. So, if I begin to unfold this from the side, so this effectively is here just to protect the display. It actually comes pre-installed with a case on. I think it's quite nice. It keeps you, because it's got a glass back, so it keeps you from getting all fingerprints on it and smudging it. What else is quite nice is it actually comes with a screen protector already applied to the device. As you can see on my model here, there are absolutely no bubbles on it at all. So in reality, it's actually very nice that they've already put it on there. I didn't actually realise there was a screen protector on until I've already been using the device for a good 10 minutes. So props to them there. There are absolutely no bubbles, and it's great because it helps to protect your screen. Now, I've already started sort of installing my own software on here. It's using the EV launcher with a there you go. So it's Aurora Square Edition icon pack. That is the icon pack that we are using here. But that is also with the EV launcher. So this is not what your device will look like out of the box. It will look like stock Android 6 because that is what it comes installed with. So how about we test this device's CPU benchmark by running Geekbench 4 on it. Now, this can take any time between 2 and 20 minutes, and we're going to see how well this stacks up compared to other smartphones on the market. Okay, so here we can see inside the Geekbench app how this phone compares to other phones such as the Samsung Galaxy S7, the Galaxy Note 7, the S7 Edge and the OnePlus 3. And we can see here that with a single core performance of 623 and the Samsung Galaxy S7 having 1806, it can't really hold up. However, what you have to remember is that this phone is about a third of the price of the Samsung Galaxy S7 when it first came out. So you are saving a lot of money, but you are also sacrificing quite a lot of single core performance. Moving on to the multi-core performance, we can see that it's still falling behind, but it's sort of able to keep its pace better. So here we see it at roughly half of the performance of devices like the Note 7 and the S7, whereas before it only had about a third of the performance. So it sort of catches up a little bit here, but it really is still falling behind. Now, anyone who's ever seen the Samsung Galaxy S7, or this phone indeed, will know the results of this before I've even mentioned it to you. And what I'm about to tell you is the camera comparison. So, all in all, as I've got on the screen right now, the camera on the Samsung Galaxy S7 definitely has much more accurate colour reproduction. And not only that, it is also just far better quality. You can see much better detail, and it's all round so much crisper and sharper. You can see from the videos and the pictures on the screen right now that it's just not really a comparison. The Samsung Galaxy S7 wins hands down every single time. However, that doesn't necessarily go to say that this phone doesn't have a place in the market. Now, what you can see from the video and the picture, that it is actually, it is still a good picture. It is still a good camera, and it does definitely work. And for the price you pay, it really isn't a very bad deal at all. See, since you have to pay so much more for the Samsung Galaxy S7, anyone on a budget, really it's out of the question. So this being able to do what it does, I think is definitely a good deal, and I think for the camera, it's not too bad. Okay, but it's also incredibly important that we look at the build of the device, and that is unfortunately where we start to run into most of our problems. So here you're going to find the backside of the device, and yeah, it looks alright. I mean, it's not the nicest looking thing, but it'll do. It's not too shabby. It's nice sort of glass panel design. It's non-removable back, so you can't replace the battery easily. But overall, it's a very premium feeling device if you ignore all of this down the bottom. However, moving on to the front of the device, this is where my biggest bugbear is, and that is with the gaps around the edge of the display and the body. You can see a very big air gap in the, right there, that big black bar. That is not actually display, that's just a big old gap between the display and the body, and that is a massive problem for me because it makes the device feel that much cheaper, and it just doesn't really give it the credit that this device deserves, because in every other way it's very good. The buttons, however, you have all on this side of the device. They're all on the right hand side, there's nothing on the left hand side. All of the buttons are on the right, so you have the volume rocker here, so up in volume, down in volume, and also the power button here, and obviously you have the home button here, and you have a reverse button as well, reverse back button, as well as a task viewer button. So that's all there, and the fingerprint scan is actually very good. Works very well, picks up my fingerprint most of the time. However, unfortunately, it's not going to be as good as the majority of sort of first-party devices. But overall, it's actually a very good device. You are missing out on a few things though, such as the always-on display that you get with lots of Android phones nowadays. Unfortunately, that isn't available on this device. However, it could be sort of implemented in a later revision. Who knows? I certainly don't. But I mean, most people, you're not going to miss out too much. It's not a massive feature that everyone relies on, so it's not too big of a deal there. Yeah, one thing I would note is just there where this device turned on, I didn't actually press any buttons. I just simply had my finger on the button there, so that's quite a nice feature. I didn't even have to press it down, just holding it on there does open the device. So that is actually a very nice feature that I very much do appreciate. So, if you found this review helpful, then please don't forget to leave a like. It really does help me out, and also leave a comment with me any suggestions of any future reviews you want me to do, or how I can improve my review style in the future. Thanks very much for watching, guys.